For example, I've seen you on TV a lot in the last couple of years. I know everything you know, or that you tell us, about the Russian situation. I don't have a clue what you think about healthcare. I've never heard it.
Yeah.
I don't know whether you're for Medicare for all, or improve Obamacare, or get a chicken. I don't know what.
Yeah.
Well, how do we help you get this done? Not how do we put more obstacles in the way? I haven't forgotten about your roof. All of that is important to keeping.
And my pot store.
And what?
And the pot store, the Woods that I own with Woody Harrelson. It's just the biggest problem we had was the government of California.
Bill Maher has clashed with Adam Schiff before, and their exchanges are rarely comfortable. Maher often criticizes progressive politics, while Schiff represents the polished Democratic establishment. So when they share a stage, it usually turns into sharp jokes, awkward pauses, and uncomfortable truths. This time was no different. From foreign policy to California's economy.
Every year, California loses people because they are being driven away by a high-tax, high-regulation state where public services don't reach the standards that they should. That should be a signal that we shouldn't have one favored industry or another. We should have a favored state. California to be competitive.
From parenting to party messaging, Maher kept pressing Schiff on issues many politicians prefer to avoid. One of the most revealing moments came when Maher quoted a vague justification for military action and asked Schiff if it sounded too broad. Schiff immediately agreed, calling it weak and unclear. Then Maher revealed the quote was from Barack Obama's Libya explanation, not Donald Trump.
TV productions continue to move out of California due to tax incentives in other states. What might the future look for Los Angeles? Is there a risk of it becoming the next Detroit?
I don't agree with the diagnosis of why the film industry is leaving. They're leaving because they're getting richer incentives in other states and in other countries. And we haven't kept pace with that. So if you want to film in the United Kingdom, you're going to get a tremendous tax break, and our motion picture industry has left the country. If you want to film in New York or Georgia, there are generous tax incentives. If we want to keep the industry here, we're going to have to compete with tax incentives. California has started to do that.
Instantly, the room changed. Maher's point was simple. Too many politicians judge actions based on who says them, not what is actually being said. Double standards have become normal in modern politics, and voters notice it. The conversation then shifted to California, where Maher focused on why film productions and businesses.
This statement from the administration: the president had the constitutional authority to direct the use of military force because he could reasonably determine that such use of force was in the national interest. That's too vague for you?
Totally vague.
Okay, because that's from Obama about Libya.
Continue leaving the state. Schiff argued that other states and countries simply offer stronger tax incentives. But Maher pushed back, suggesting the deeper issue is California itself. High taxes, heavy regulations, expensive housing, and endless bureaucracy have made operating there increasingly difficult. Hollywood isn't relocating just for fun, it's fun. Following affordability. For years, California sold itself as the land of opportunity, but many now see it as the land of cost. Maher even joked about his own struggles dealing with California regulations, mentioning personal projects and business ventures slowed down by red tape. Beneath the humor was a serious criticism. The state often feels hostile to the very people who create jobs, invest money, and keep industries alive. If California wants to remain competitive, Maher argued, it must become friendlier, not just for celebrities and corporations, but for ordinary families trying to survive. Another major topic was parenting, schools, and children glued to phones. Maher questioned whether the United States should consider restrictions similar to proposals in the UK limiting children's access to social media. He argued that many parents have lost authority, classrooms have become distraction zones, and discipline has collapsed. While technology was sold as progress, it often replaced focus with constant stimulation. Attention spans dropped, learning suffered, and many children now seem more influenced by screens than adults. Maher's broader point was cultural, not just technological. Schools are supposed to build discipline, literacy, and independence. Instead, too many classrooms are dominated by devices, entertainment, and fragmented attention. Parents complain, teachers struggle, and students drift. For Maher, this is one of those obvious problems leaders hesitate to confront because the solutions require saying no, enforcing standards, and risking backlash. The discussion also turned toward national politics and why many Americans vote the way they do. Schiff insisted Joe Biden would win because voters wanted a decent, moral person in office. But Maher challenged that assumption. He argued that elections are not won simply by pointing out flaws in the other side. Many voters do not support candidates because they love them, they support them because they reject the alternative. If one party appears arrogant, extreme, or disconnected from reality, frustrated voters respond accordingly. Maher highlighted cultural issues where common sense and activist ideology collide. He referenced debates over biological sex in sports and argued that many ordinary voters see some progressive positions as detached from reality. Even if they dislike Trump, they may still vote against a party. that appears to deny obvious truths. His message was blunt. When leaders dismiss concerns as ignorance or bigotry, they push moderates away. One of Maher's sharpest criticisms was media comfort zones. He asked Schiff why politicians often stay on friendly networks where interviews are soft and questions predictable. If leaders truly believe in their ideas, Maher said, they should defend them anywhere, including hostile platforms. Tough questions are not attack. They are tests. Avoiding scrutiny may feel safe in the short term, but it creates distrust over time. When Maher asked Schiff what Democrats actually stand for beyond opposing Trump, Schiff gave a long answer about healthcare, retirement security, education costs, globalization, automation, and economic disruption. Those are serious concerns, but Maher's frustration was clear. Too often the message becomes abstract and over-explained. Voters want clarity. They want to know how life gets better, how bills get lower, how opportunities grow, and why they should. Security, education costs, globalization, automation, and economic disruption. Those are serious concerns, but Maher's frustration was clear. Too often the message becomes abstract and over-explained. Voters want clarity. They want to know how life gets better, how bills get lower, how opportunities grow, and why they should believe promises this time. Maher then focused on socialism and branding within the Democratic Party. He questioned why some leaders embrace labels that frighten swing voters and moderates. Whether fair or not, the word socialism carries political baggage in America. Many independents hear it and immediately pull back. Maher's point was strategic. Even popular policies can lose support when wrapped in language that alienates the middle. He also pointed to evidence from competitive districts, where moderate Democrats often perform better than more ideological candidates. His argument was not that progressive values are inherently wrong, but that messaging matters. Elections are won by persuading undecided people, not just energizing the base. If a party drifts too far from the center, it risks losing voters who might otherwise agree on bread-and-butter issues. By the end of the exchange, Maher's main warning was clear. Democrats, especially establishment figures like Schiff, often rely on polished language, friendly audiences, and moral certainty while ignoring practical frustrations voters feel every day. High costs, confusing messaging, cultural overreach, weak accountability, and evasive answers create a vacuum, and voters fill that vacuum elsewhere. You do not have to agree with Maher to understand the signal he is pointing toward. People want honesty over spin, solutions over slogans, and leaders willing to face uncomfortable realities. Ignore that demand, and parties lose the middle. Respect it, and they may actually win the argument that matters most.